Welcome to the place where brains collide with science, wit, and a nerdy vibe. I'm Dr. Angel. Let's dive in where psychology meets a clever spin. Stay curious, be kind, and keep your mind nerdy.
The Psychology of Quirks. Why you're weird is wiring. Okay, I'm going to tell on myself for this episode. Every morning, I have this very specific routine. I get up, I go make my coffee, I head straight in the shower where I sing my heart out to my morning playlist through a waterproof speaker. It's basically like a one-woman concert featuring me. Then, when I get out of the shower, I grab the same hair product that I have used for years. And without fail, I pump that thing exactly 10 times. Not 9 times, not 11 times, 10. It's like my brain decided, yep, 10 is the magic number for, world domination. And then when I sit down and write something technical, like a detailed psychological report or continuing education course, I have to have something completely ridiculously silly playing in the background. I'm talking like The Love Boat, The Good Place, a Medea movie, or even a podcast about some silly, useless facts. If someone peeked in my day, they might think, wow, she's a weirdo. But here's the truth. These little oddities, they're not random. They're part of what keeps my brain balanced, helps me stay focused, helps me keep calm. And if you're nodding along thinking of your very own weird rituals, like, talking to your plants or avoiding that first slice of bread or never using a pen that someone else chewed, you're in the right place. Hi everyone, I'm Dr. Angel and this is Nerdy Psychology. I'm a lifelong nerd and a lover of all things human and mental health. This is a place where we explore strange, beautiful, and the fascinating ways that our minds work. If you love learning why we, do what it is we do and how to turn your quirks into superpowers, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and hit that bell icon so you never miss the next deep dive, but actually the really delightfully nerdy dives. Let's get started. Okay, before we can start really dissecting our quirks, let's sit back and kind of define what do I mean when I'm talking about our quirks. Our quirks are the small, consistent, personal behaviors that make like our psychological fingerprint. They're things that aren't big enough to be habits, but they're not clinical enough to be a symptom. They're just riding the space in between. And they're the things that make us delightfully, uniquely, human. Maybe you always sleep with like one foot out of the blanket or rewatch the same comfort shows like 47 times. Or maybe you just arrange your snacks by color. Or you can't start working until your desk is like completely organized or ironically perfectly messy. Research from the University of Arizona found that personal routines and rituals, they actually lower our cortisol level. And our cortisol is our body's main stress hormone. In other words, your quirks might be your brain's way of giving yourself a daily emotional hug. That helps you feel safe, predictable, and grounded in a world that can feel, anything else but safe, predictable, and grounded. Here's the coolest part. Our quirks actually have roots in neuroscience. Our basal ganglia, that part of our brain that helps with the formation of our habits, it thrives on repetition. When you repeat a behavior that feels soothing or successful, and your brain rewards you with a hit of dopamine, and over time it becomes this anchor, a little neural loop that says, this feels good. A study published in the Frontiers in Psychology showed that people who engage in consistent micro rituals report better emotional regulation than, well, those who don't. It's not about superstition, it's about emotional regulation. So when I do my 10 pumps of hair product every morning, it's not vanity, it's my brain's way of saying, excellent routine achieved. Now let's go slay the day. I've always been, well, a lot bit nerdy, to be honest with you. And I get this deep thrill from learning new things. Things maybe in neuroscience or ancient history or how to perfectly roast a chicken or how to unclog my toilet. It honestly doesn't matter. My curiosity is, well, it's like a caffeinated toddler with a Wi-Fi connection. For the longest time, I thought this made me weird or too much. I'd see people who seemed to just effortlessly chill. And I wondered why I needed systems and rituals and silly background shows to function. But then I started realizing my quirks, well, they're my coping mechanisms. Singing in the shower helps regulate my mood, or watching funny things while writing reports prevents me from having burnout. And well, my nerdiness wasn't a flaw. It was a form of enthusiasm. When you look at your quirks through that lens, well, they stop being weird and they start being wise. So then why do we hide our quirks? And well, why we shouldn't. Hiding, so here's the thing. Many people feel self-conscious about, well, their quirks because somewhere along the line they were told, tone it down, act normal, be professional. Or my absolute very favorite, you need to act mature. But normal? That's just a social construct. Literally, it's just a statistical average. It's not a moral gold standard. Research in personality and individual differences found that people who embrace their idiosyncrasies tend to report a higher life satisfaction and creative output than those who suppress them. So think about this. Einstein, he refused to wear socks. And Agatha Christie, did you know she wrote her mysteries in the bathtub while eating apples? Or Lady Gaga has to eat waffles before performing. And Nikola Tesla, he literally walked around the blocks 3 times before entering any building. Our quirks are not barriers to success. Honestly, they're often the secret sauce. Okay, so here's the question. How do you stop judging your quirks and start embracing them? Well, the first thing you need to do is, well, name them with love. Don't say, I'm weird about this. Try something like, this is one of my grounding rituals, or my emotions feel better when I do this, or I get some joy from doing this. The language we use when we're talking about ourselves and our quirks matter. When we're talking negatively at us, we're going to feel negatively about us. Our quirks are what make us so unique and so individual and actually fun and interesting. So your language matters. So be careful when choosing your language, because remember, your language becomes your narratives that you tell yourself constantly in your mind, and your narratives become your feelings. And we want that narrative to be the healthy narrative of strength and love and compassion towards ourselves. The next thing we do is kind of connect the dots. Like ask yourself, well, what does this quirk do for me? Like maybe it's something that brings us comfort or helps you focus or gives you a sense of control. That's not weird. That's self-regulation. Find humor in your quirks. You know, when we can laugh with it and not at ourselves, it builds this level of self-acceptance. I mean, we all know that person who literally talks to their car before going on a big trip. Like they get in, are like, all right, Junior, come on, baby. Don't die on me on this trip, man. I need you to get through this one. Rubbing the little dashboard. Share your quirks. The moment you tell someone your weird thing, they almost always respond with, wait, I do that too. And well, that's how connection starts. We can connect through the things that we think are weird. Your quirks are not glitches in your personality. They're your mind's creative adaptations. It's the way your nervous system finds rhythm and joy and, well, meaning in our chaos. They're your comfort code. So whether you sing in the shower or count your hair product pumps or watch Brooklyn Nine-Nine while balancing your budget, it's okay. Your quirks are proof that you built tiny systems of safety inside a complicated world. And your weird is your wiring, and that's something to celebrate, not conceal. If this episode helped you see your quirks in a new light, hit the subscribe and share it with a fellow weirdo who might need this reminder too. And I'd love to know, what is your favorite quirk? Drop it in the comments so we can build a wall of our wonderful weirdnesses together. Until next time, be curious, stay kind, and keep your mind nerdy. That's a wrap. See you next week.
Stay curious, be kind, and keep your mind nerdy.